Thank you for joining me. This week we're going to talk about the Canon EOS R and the Nikon Z7. Both cameras making a lot of ruckus in the news lately, and we're going to see what the ruckus is all about. I'm not going to give you my opinion just yet. I'm going to read over the specs, then I'm going to leave it to you guys. We have, right off the bat, the Nikon has to really pull its weight and prove itself because it's sitting at over $1,000 more than the Canon. The Nikon has a higher megapixel count, which is not too important, to be honest with you. But if you're doing prints and you're blowing these things up real big, then you're gonna like that the Nikon has a 45.7 megapixel count over the 30 megapixel count of the Canon. One thing that the Nikon is definitely going to take, at least in my books, is that it has built-in image stabilization. Now it has 5-axis built-in stabilization, which means that you can do this. Yeah, jokes aside, guys, this is something that we're seeing a lot in the Sony lineup. And now I guess we're gonna start to see this in the Nikon lineup, but we haven't seen this at all on the Canon side. Again, we're seeing it here with no in-camera built-in stabilization. Now, of course, you can get lenses with built-in stabilization, but if you do get a lens that does not have that, then you're gonna get some shaky footage, and if you're shooting video, that's gonna be a problem for you. Both cameras are environmentally sealed, which means that you can shoot in tornadoes. That's a joke. Don't do that, please. As far as continuous shooting goes, they're pretty similar, with the Canon having 8 frames per second and the Nikon having 9 frames per second. Not a big deal. If you're shooting sports photography, you want to shoot fast, I don't recommend either of these cameras, to be honest with you. Both cameras only have 1 card slot. That is a big no-no for me. If you're spending $3,400 on a camera, it should have 500 card slots, not 1 card slot. That is a joke. All seriousness, 2 card slots, that is industry standard and should be going forward. 1 card slot, get out of here, Nikon. Neither of the cameras have built-in flash. What a shame. The Canon and the Nikon are both going to shoot at 4K 30 frames per second. Now, unfortunately, the Canon again is gonna take a knee here because it can only shoot at 1080p 60 frames per second, while the Nikon is gonna do 1080p at 120 frames per second. Yeah, the Canon at 5,655 focus points and the Nikon at 493. Whoa, wow, the Canon must focus a lot better. That's not necessarily true. I'm going to talk about that again very soon, either in a story or when I do the in-hand camera reviews. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and definitely hit that follow button if you haven't already. And I'll see you next week.